So the question is, yeah, and the question is, this week's question, how does self-awareness contribute to the effectiveness of karma action? And this is second chapter Bhagwan is talked about, second and third both. But the question is self-awareness, which is called Atmagyan, contribute to the effectiveness of karma action. And yeah, it's a very valid question. So we'll see the Gita Shlok, how Bhagwan addresses this in Gita. And I always enjoy finding the answers in Bhagavad Gita, finding the answers, and it is what. So there are one thing we need to understand why the Bhagavad Gita is said. Arjun had no problem of intelligence or his skill, archery or whatever, and he was a prince. So Arjun had no lack of resources he needed for a war. Absolutely. So he was like, he won so many wars. He had all the possessions. He had all the big Gandiv, the Shivji ka Dhanush and all those things. So Arjun had no lack of resources. Then what's the problem? The problem was not IQ. And this is very related to our Desi people also, right? Problem is not IQ. Right? We are typically Desis have best IQ. I mean, it's not because we have done something. It is coming from our Rishi Parampara. DNA. It is in our DNA. That's why we have. And I always tell our kids, the problem is EQ. And EQ means emotional quotient. So Arjun's problem was not IQ. Arjun's problem was EQ. And because of EQ, Arjun's effectiveness has gone down. And that's why he's saying, Gandiv Sansrate, mere haath mein se Gandiv is slipping. And Brahmati viche me mana, my mind is whirling. What is this action? A small action which he has performed many, many times in his life. He was one of the most achieved, best archer of the world. He was practiced all his life. And he says, Gandiv I'm not able to hold the Gandiv, Krishna. So and that is emotion. So Arjun's problem was not it was EQ. So the effectiveness of karma, the question is, how does self-awareness contribute? We'll see how that shlok says that. So the Gita addresses the self-awareness. Self-awareness, Atmagyan. Atmagyan addresses EQ, not IQ. किसी को ये नहीं सोचना कि गीता पढ़ने से मेरे एग्जाम में मार्क्स ज्यादा जाएंगे, या I'll get better job opportunities, or I'll be better in. You will be better in job by reading Gita because your EQ will be higher, not IQ. Gita has nothing to do with IQ. And that's what the effectiveness of karma will come from Atmagyan. So EQ will be higher. And how does EQ will be higher? So the sari problem, emotion, when we have emotional, we have anger, or we have too much happiness or anxiety, everything is emotion, right? And Chinmayananji used to say it very nicely, we dissipate the energy, the positive energy. Any emotion, good or bad, we lose the positive energy. And the moment that positive energy is gone, we are ashant. But the peace of mind is gone. Anxiety, even if I'm too happy, peace of mind is gone. I'll jump something and I'll drink or do. And the Gyan cannot come if you don't have a peace of mind. Atma Gyan cannot happen if you have peace. That's the reason sari practices Bhagwan Arjun bola hai ki Indriya Nigraha and Mano Nigraha. That is Arjun, you have to practice the whole 6th chapter when we come to that. And that's what we say the shlok, right? Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat, that is jnana dhyana vishishta. That's a practice. That both encompass both Indriya Nigraha and Mano Nigraha, sense control, mind control. Once you have sense control, mind control, then Atma Gyan happens. Atma Gyan, self-awareness. In simple terms, I mean, if you become fearless, you're always happy because there's nothing to lose, nothing to gain. All the gain loss are already is the 11th shlok of 2nd chapter. Matra sparshast kaunteya. Sitoshna sukudukada agama painu anitya tanstitikshasva bharat. Arjun, is going to happen. Kabhi sukh hoga, kabhi dukh hoga, but they're all temporary. Nobody can guarantee that. And that is what Atmagyan is. So once we have that, then the NOFDIC formula applies, right? I have a longer type of peaceful mind. The longer the duration of my peace, the better I'll be performing. The EQ is higher. So IQ is there, but the problem is the EQ. So when IQ is already there, and now you have EQ also, and now you're performing the action. So the shlok, which is 50th shlok of second chapter, that's what Bhagwan has explained that, right? 50th shlok of second chapter. Buddhi yukto jahati ha ubhe sukrata duskrate tasmat yogaya yujjasva yoga karmasu kaushalam. And the shlok says that yoga karmasu kaushalam. Kaushal means skill of making the right choice. We call it Vivek also. Kaushal and Vivek, they're kind of synonymous. Vivek means making the right choice when required. As I know, kabhi bhi, I mean, when required, you make the choice. That is called right choice. I mean, if it's not required, you're saying, okay, I'll do this, but it is not required. So making the right choice, that is called Kaushalam. And Bhagavan says that is while doing that choice right during the action, karmasu, while performing the action. That is yoga. And that is what called effectiveness. So there is a whole right of many efficiency versus effectiveness. It's a very popular term. People write papers on that. Efficiency versus effectiveness. I am very efficient. I can cut, if you give me time, 2 days, I can cut 10 trees. That, and the people say he's very efficient. He can do, but is or he efficient, effective or not? Yeah, 10 पेड़ काटना तो काट सकता हूँ. I am efficient, but effective or not? So the story we all know that Abraham, people say about Abraham Lincoln, but it doesn't matter. That this person is walking and the guy is cutting the tree, and he's very strong guy and with the axe cutting the tree, and he's cutting also the trees. He cut few trees, but then the scholar is passing by, and he says, "Gentlemen, can I tell you something?" He said, "What?" "You are putting a lot of hard work, sweating, you are strong, you have cut few trees and you're going to cut more." He said, "Yeah, I'm going to cut all this. I know that I can." Well, yeah, you are efficient. But if you can sharpen your axe or saw, you will cut them in half the time. He said, "No, I don't have time to do that. I'm committed to cut 10. I have continued doing that." And he continued. And that's what I say that efficiency was effectiveness. If your saw is sharpened, you'll be more effective. You're anyway putting effort. So that's what Bhagavan is. The shlok says that Buddhi yukto jahati. Use the buddhi, which is Vivek, ubhe sukra duskrite, but you just stay away from the success and failure, of good or bad, likes or dislikes. Stay away. That is Vivek. Tasmat yoga yujyasu. Therefore, Arjun, engage yourself in Buddhi yoga, the Vivek. And once you have the Buddhi yoga, that is basically self-awareness, nothing else. You realize that, oh, I am not that this body, I am not the mind. Because up to mind, we saw that we will do dhyan, right? All the senses up to mind is all body. After that, buddhi comes and then atma. So up to mind, likes and dislikes, everything is in mind. All the anxiety, everything is in mind, at the mind level. So if I think I'm mind, then I'm anxious, I have dislikes, and then I'll not be effective. I will still perform the karma. But if I work at the buddhi level or atma level, that, oh, I'm not the mind. So likes and dislikes, I'm always peaceful. And automatically, yoga karmasu kaushal. Whatever you will do, so that's what Gita says, Bhagavan says, that's what they say, self-awareness, the Atma Gyan or Buddhi Yoga contributes to the effectiveness of karma this way. So we'll stop here. There is a formula which I created, EQ equal to Titiksha divided by Kama Tyag. Or we talked about third chapter, lack of desire or reduced desire. So higher the acceptance, which is Titiksha, the numerator, and denominator is desires, which is Kamana. Less the Kamana, higher the acceptance or titiksha. So acceptance divided by expectation equal to EQ. And we can all practically do that. More acceptance I have, less expectation I have, my EQ is higher because I am less disturbed. मेरे को किसी से कुछ चाहिए ही नहीं. And I accept everything, whatever comes, gain, loss, good or bad, I'm accepting. And that increases the EQ. And that's what this shlok says. Ubhe sukrit duskrite. No expectation. And it says tasmat yoga you just miss titiksha, the same second shlok. Acceptance is higher. And then EQ is higher. And that's what this shlok says, yoga karma sukarshanam. So yeah, so self-awareness, buddhi yoga makes the karma more effective. We'll stop here and do our dhyan. And next week when we meet, we'll continue with our